it when it was current content, all the way up to Legion. Stopped playing in Legion, just burnt out of the game, really, I suppose. And then started playing private servers, TBC specifically. Dabbled in a little bit of RAF private servers just for nostalgia, but yeah, obviously TBC is where the heart's at.
Yeah. You know, I live in this, like, I'm, you know, I love TBC too, don't get me wrong, but, you know, I hang around a lot of classic Andes, you know, and it's interesting, like, listening to your channel, like, your community and you are really, really into TBC, you know, and just getting your guys' perspective on it is interesting to me. Anyway, appreciate you sharing that. Next question up is, what class fantasy resonates with you the most?
I'll be honest, I'm not about class fantasy, race fantasy, anything like that. You know, I'm about like trying to top damage meters or top healing meters. I don't really care about anything else. But if I was going to have to pick one, I would probably say something like the rogue, you know, sneaking around and just stabbing people in the face.
Nice.
I could find that quite fun if I was to become an IRL character.
So you gravitate towards more like, you know, physical damage dealing rather than magic and stuff?
100%.
100%. Very nice. Those are kind of the two big buckets, right, chat? You kind of figure. Some people do prefer. What about you, chat? You know, what do you guys identify, you know, class fantasy wise, like the most? You know, those are the two main buckets, and then it gets a little more broken down from there. But anyway, favorite race in game, or does it no preference?
No preference really. I mean, I'd probably lean more towards female night elves, but
for, like, you know, like attack animations or something like that. You like the like Dr. Kill face palm, yeah.
No, just generally trying to you know, top the world record of number of consecutive flips.
Oh, right.
Is that not all that matters in game?
That's the real.
I can really see him doing that, though. That's the thing. He really is that guy.
That's funny, man. All right. Well, what's your flip record, man?
16, I think.
Damn, that's a lot of WoW. You have to play WoW a lot of time for a lot of time to get 16 straight flips.
16 straight flips on the bell.
That's crazy.
Does the Blood Elf flip or not? I think they twirl, right?
No, there's a twist. Yeah.
Yeah,
they twist.
Which is the lamest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, favorite zone. We're almost through it, man. Hang in there. And why? You know, it doesn't have to be for RP reasons. It could just be like, you know, for efficiency or something like that.
Well, I feel like I should probably keep it TBC themed. And it's probably a weird one, actually. I think when you ask people this, the majority of people say Nagran. I don't know why, but I reckon 9 out of 10 say Nagran, but I'd say Terakar Forest. And the only reason I'd say that is because it's probably one of the most unique zones, as in it's actually 2 zones in one. You know, it's a nice, like, foresty area, and then you get to the bone waste, and it's just death and buzzards eating corpses and stuff. But I can't think of another zone throughout all the entirety of Classic and then into TBC where you've got 2 zones in one. Feel free, chat, correct me if there is one.
Yo, you don't hear that every day. That's a pretty edgy take right there, the old Terakar Forest. That zone gets the least amount of love, I think, when it comes to TBC. But it's cool that you enjoy it so much. What about you, Crix? I never really asked you that.
Yo, whoa! Ask me, hit me with it.
No, just favorite zone.
I haven't actually done any of these questions. Yeah, favorite zone is in all of WoW.
Yeah, all of WoW.
Winter, spring, shocker.
Winter, spring.
And then and winter, spring, and a grand for TBC. Probably those ones. Yeah.
Not a bad answer.
I like Jara classic wise too, actually. Oh, Felwood. Love Felwood. I love Felwood, actually.
Wow.
Felwood. Well, you're definitely a warlock at heart, that's for sure, right?
Love Felwood, bro. Love Felwood. Love it. But I wouldn't say class fantasy wise I would relate with the warlock, unless people say I drain the life out of people. I guess that, I don't know, Kill. I'll probably drain the life out of Kill, so I guess I would be warlock.
Oh, man. Because Scotty J's here, we'll modify this next question too, just because I know you're a man who enjoys his beers. Favorite snack and favorite beer?
Favorite beer? I'm going to have to say Carling, because I mean the stream's more or less sponsored by Carling. There's that many cans that get thrown around this room. But it's not. But I mean, that's my most frequently drunk beer, just because it's cheap. But favorite would probably be, well, it's actually a cider, Stella Sidra.
Oh,
probably
nice.
Be my favorite.
Yeah, I've had that one before.
And snack-wise, I mean, it's just got to be Doritos and dip. There's just nothing better. Doritos and hot salsa dip with a nice cold beer.
Doritos and dip. Never tried that before. I usually go for just the vanilla tortilla chips with the salsa. That might be the move. Enhance the flavor even more.
Yeah, man.
All right, we're almost through it, brother. Hang in there. Favorite version or iteration of World of Warcraft, and why?
Oh, God, this is just going to be so... it's not going to be the right thing to say on a TBC podcast, but Wrath of the Lich King. I mean, I love TBC, don't get me wrong, but Wrath of the Lich King for me was when the game was at its peak. And if it weren't for TBC being around the corner, I would be playing Wrath of the Lich King private servers now. But it's only because it's too far away from being a classic release that, give it a year into TBC, and then you'll probably see me disappear from classic and playing strictly on Wrath private servers.
Yo, I was not expecting that. Were you expecting that, Crix? Did you know that about Scotty?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Wow.
He's definitely he's a Lich King guy.
Lich King, huh?
He's on the private servers on Lich King for a while too. Yeah, he's just using TBC as a filler, right?
Exactly that. It's a step into that.
That's
Just a
crazy,
filler.
man. Okay, and then just one final question, and we're through the cringe. If you could visit any year, like what year would that be and why?
1966 to get smashed while England win the World Cup.
Oh man, you thought this man planned this answer. He did not. This is right off the top of the dome. Scotty J. Awesome, man. Yo, it's good to have you here, man. Happy holidays to everybody watching.
Cheers, man. I'm just so distracted by what Crix is doing at the moment.
Yo, you like that shirt though? Have you seen it?
That is a fresh shirt. It's got the Christmas lights
on the nipples, bro.
Very festive. Very, very festive. Okay.
I saved it for this episode directly.
So, folks, we are about to get into it, man. Episode 8 of the Dark Portal. Thank you for being here once again. We're the early, people to the party, right? TBC hasn't even been announced yet, and we're still hyped for it, and we're here. We're talking about it. We're learning about the game, and just, sowing the seeds, man. So, here's the agenda today. We're going to go over TBC news first. TBC news. And there is a bit of TBC news. You know how I know? I watched the Scotty J video on the subject. And Crix also tipped this out for me as well. Maybe, Scotty might be sick of explaining it, man. Maybe, Crix, you want to explain the news?
I was going to make a video on it, and I realized I'm garbage at explaining this, so I would actually love Scotty to do that, because he literally made a video for it. And I'll actually link your video for this chat to see as well if they want to.
All right, go on, I'll take it. So, obviously we know, Nano, who was one of the owners, basically, when he lead developer of Nostarius back in the day. So he's done a lot of work with actually Blizzard. He'd been flown over there to sort of look at how them guys done the private server, and how classic sort of Blizzard can do an official classic release. Obviously, that's going back a couple of years now. So, but he's got reliable sources in Blizzard, and he leaked a schedule basically a couple of months ago, saying when Nax is going to come out, when we're going to see a TBC beta, and when we're going to see a TBC release. Nax was on time, so we can only assume that the beta and the release is going to be on time. But now he actually leaked, not leaked, but he teased a couple of weeks ago a sort of TBC news update that was going to be coming. And I actually, tying it all together, I think that leak that he done a couple of weeks ago was pointing towards the TBC survey. Again, which would mean he's right.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, we've talked about Nano in the past, too. He was a Nost. Anybody here played Nostarius? The server was it's got a bit of a legendary story behind it, but he was one of the lead devs there. Got flown out to Blizzard and met in the boardroom with them and talked with all them. So he definitely has Blizzard contacts and all that. But he's been right about a lot of things so far. So there's this tweet, and then we also got this survey. So it's not even just a tweet, hyping it up or saying something soon. We actually did get an official Blizzard communication to the community in the form of a survey. The survey was I watched your video on it, Scotty, and it was, the questions weren't exactly hard-hitting, right? They were, very mild, and you even said, what could they possibly be getting from this? But it's...
Yeah, it was a bit strange, I'll be honest with you. It is marketing purposes, and I think purely because they're coming towards the end of a financial year, they're probably looking at where they can spend their budget next year. I think that's my best guess, and going by some of the comments on the YouTube video as well. So where they're asking about what's more important to you, PvP, PvE, blah blah blah. It's probably then they're going to heavily tailor a TBC trailer or teaser trailer or something like that towards what the majority of people want. So if it's PvP, they'll focus on arenas when they're advertising. If it's PvE, they'll focus on the new raids. That's what I take away from it. But largely, they were fairly fluffy questions, weren't they? Asking how you ignore people and how how toxic people are in the game and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't see the relevance.
Yeah, there was only a couple, like you said, like 3 that were specifically related to TBC, and then the rest was kind of strange questions. But also, any classic Andes watching, even though we're doing TBC, stuff tonight, there is, people were wondering, like, would Blizzard do a fresh realm for classic servers, right? And it seems like they're flirting with the idea, because that's one of the questions. Which one was it? So there is one question here: how likely are you to play a classic version of the TBC? Probably literally everybody and their mama hit very likely. And then, where's this other question? There's another question on here anyway, where they're talking about a new fresh start WoW Classic realm where all content is released to day one, or you could play TBC Classic, or you'd play them both equally. That's really interesting. So that makes me think that there's a good likelihood that there'll be some fresh Classic realms for the folks that enjoy that iteration of the game. Give them something to look forward to.
How do you feel that will affect TBC servers?
I don't know if it will.
Bad way?
I think it'll be a small niche portion of people that enjoy Classic more than TBC for a bit. I do think once the dust all settles, people will come back to Classic a bit, but
yeah.
I don't know. Different strokes, right? Different strokes. Yeah. Dr. Kill, what do you make of all this, man? These questions? Anything? Oh, you might be muted, brother. Oh, no. Okay.
He's too busy playing with his hat.
I am. I was trying to get my festive hat going here.
Oh, kudos, though. He did make one. Yeah, Scotty told him to make one.
I did.
How'd you do that? What is that? Is that a plate? It was like...
No, it's like wrapping paper.
Wrapping paper.
Oh,
yeah.
Very nice.
Christmas wrapping paper.
Clever use of game mechanics.
Yeah. So you're talking more like on the survey?
Yeah. Just with the TBC server stuff. I don't know if there is much to take other than Blizzard's highly likely going to announce TBC pretty damn soon.
It kind of just feels more like feelers than anything to me.
Yeah.
But is this so? In your guys' experience, is this new? I'll be honest with you. I know of surveys going out before, but twice in such a short space of time about the same game. Yeah, I think that's really strange.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I didn't have anything interesting to say.
The 3 questions they asked TBC are the same ones they asked us on our first survey, weren't they?
Well, very similar. Yeah.
Except for the Classic Fresh. Except for the Classic Fresh. There's never been a mention of Classic Fresh before until now. So, it's looking good. We got another official Blizzard communication about the subject matter. The thing that's interesting, though, about Nano's tweets is he said, one way or another, I think we'll all be talking about Classic's TBC schedule by New Year's. By New Year's. That's in 10 days, tomorrow. Man. That's we're very close to that. I was thinking that it was going to be on BlizzCon Online that we would get any sort of announcement. But if you're trying to test the credibility of Nano, this might be something to look towards, right? Like if we get any kind of official schedule by New Year's, if people want to see this as a trusted source or not. I've spoken with him before. He's a nice dude.
Yeah.
I agree. I would say if we get an announcement by New Year, we will 100% have a beta in March.
March, doesn't that feel like it'd be really soon? Unless they're just working
really
on it
soon?
the whole time. Unless they're just working on it the whole time.
You guys ever think that classic versions of the expansions will ever reach the even close to what the population of the game was? Like, will Wrath hit 14 million players? Wrath Classic?
I don't think so, man. I think TB, I was watching. You can actually go. By the way, chat. You can go on YouTube and search for old BlizzCons. Even all the way back to 2004, 5, 6, and you can watch a lot of the panels. I didn't even know you could do that. So I did that, and I was looking. I found this one video, and the guy was talking about. It was Mike Morheim, and he was saying TBC was a massive success. We have 9 million people. Which is more than the population than a lot of countries and stuff like that. So it looked like TBC was at 9 mil at peak. I don't know. I don't know if we'll see that.
I feel like there's too many other things for people to do than play TV. Like, there's so many other games to play versus back in the day, there wasn't that many games to play in comparison to nowadays. And PS5 coming out, Xbox Series came out, all this stuff that I think it won't be that many people playing it.
Well, I think the biggest contributing factor is retail. At the end of the day, you're splitting your audience straight away, aren't you? I know some people play both side by side, but it's quite time consuming.
Yeah. What have you noticed so far about retail coming out and just kind of the state of things? Any takeaways? I'll start, I guess. Retail looks like it's in a pretty good spot. People seem to be enjoying it still. You look back at past expansions and it kind of like shoots way up the hype and then it lasts for like a week or two and then it comes back down hard. Shadowlands has beaten that initial test, right? People seem to be enjoying it. But I have seen some of, at least the classic streamers and stuff gravitate back towards classic a little bit more in the past week or two. People playing hardcore, people playing classic, they're coming back a bit. So, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, the one thing, I was kind of curious is how Shadowlands would mix with Nax being launched, and I mean, at least the private server side, we had a content release too, and it was surprising to see how well they actually all shared. Like, a good amount of people playing Shadowlands still. For the most part, I saw still a lot of private servers were still bumping as well. Of course, things take a hit when the hype is really high on Shadowlands, but I think Shadowlands is good. I think it's there's definitely a lot to do.
Yeah.
Retail's also one of those things where you just get your character leveled up and you just do weekly stuff to maintain your character. You don't really have to no life it 24/7 during the week. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
It gives them time to play everything else.
Yep.
I've been fighting the temptation to buy it. I'll be honest with you. I
you
said I'd
haven't played
never
it yet?
buy retail again. No, well, I played all through the beta, but I think that was why, because I played the beta. I was like, what's the point of buying the game?
It's the whole game.
Exactly.
Not missing much.
So here's my question for you, chat, and for our panelists, first and foremost. Let's look back towards classic beta. You guys remember it? How it was and how it was rolled out? Do you think that they did it well? Would you like to see it rolled out differently if there was going to be a TBC beta? In a perfect world, how would you see it rolled out? And just some ideas to stir around in your head. If they announced a beta, would it be 1 to 70, everything, just nothing gated whatsoever? Would it be 1 to 20? Would it be, or anything in between?
I don't see why they would gate vanilla content unless, I don't know. Maybe just for. I don't see why they would, unless it's just specifically zones, like the new starter zones.
I think maybe. Oh, go ahead. Finish your sentence.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
Here's my hot take. I'm flirting with the idea of no beta. Is that crazy? Chat, don't roast me too hard. But I look back at Classic and I think to myself, was the Classic beta valuable? Like, did it promote Classic WoW? It clearly did, right? It was kind of a marketing force for Blizzard. I think that's why they invited all these streamers and opened it. But a part of me couldn't help but feel that, like, maybe if it was locked away officially before everyone's eyes, because I think they ran the beta for a couple months, right? Maybe if they locked it away for everyone and nobody could see it or play it in any official capacity, and then it launched, maybe it could have been bigger or more exciting for some. Because by the time it launched, for maybe it's the content creator thing, right? But by the time it came out, it wasn't so much like awe and majesty and just hype and excitement. It was more like anxiety for me of trying to just level up fast and do this. We're all very sensitized to the zones again, sensitized to Classic because we've been looking at it and watching people play it for months and months. But I don't know. You guys have any thoughts?
I agree. But I do also sort of sit on the complete opposite end of the football pitch, as in, like, I personally would go open beta from the word go, no invites, no nothing, just open it to everybody because it's already there. You can go and play a private server. Yeah, the only thing that could come of it, which would be better if it was open beta, was they'd see how quick. I wouldn't have tier 6 open. I would just have tier 4 and 5, and yeah, I would have raids. I wouldn't have it gated so you can only test it at certain times. I would let people try and clear all that content as quick as physically possible, and then I would tune it, and I would make sure that when it goes live, it's a shock to the system, and people are like, "Oh shit, it wasn't this hard when it was on beta." That's personally how I do it, because for me, if you want to do 1 to 70, go on a private server. It's going to be no different to a classic TVC release. The only thing that's going to be different is how difficult it is.
Honest feedback on these things. This video is going to be split up into two.
Got a lot to chew on there. I mean,
the experience
there's some differences, I would say, like the old, because I think the servers you guys are playing on right now, there's still Mango's like repack kind of things, right, that are hosted and stuff. It's got the same, spell batching windows and just the same, my point is, with the official classic WoW and not playing on that Mango's repack, it's a lot more smooth and polished feeling, and you can kind of pump the textures and graphics a bit higher. So there's something visually, I feel it when I'm playing on those private servers, man. It feels kind of janky sometimes, but
oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of little bugs on there. Especially as a warlock or a pet class, there's definitely some P server things.
Oh yeah, yep.
So they vary so much as well, don't they? I mean, the difference between Endless and Karazhan is there's some big differences.
Yeah, and some people are turned off by the idea of private servers giving, the Paladin seals to both sides and doing stuff to manipulate, balance or the game in some way. Experience rates that don't bother me as much as the idea that both sides of Paladins would get Seal of Blood, for example. That was always something that was just kind of like left a sour taste in my mouth. But
yeah, it's just them
do that, and everybody's going to be horde. They have to do some kind of, some servers will say you get free respecs like Karazhan does. Some servers okay, everybody gets Seal of Blood, but they have to do that or everybody's going to be horde. And also with the XP, you can on all servers you can change it. So if you don't want to level it 3 times or 4 times, you can change it to 1 with a command and then level your heart out to 1.
Yeah, I mean, on a private server where you don't have, millions or hundreds of thousands of players, you got to keep it balanced. You have a very large PvP community as well. Or by large, I mean, you have a lot of really, really good players. Like, doing arena and things on private servers is I would say twice as hard than it will be on classic TBC.
I agree.
And the thing amazes me as well is if these private servers can tune the content, they can give both sides seals, they can, give free respecs to whoever they want. I mean, they've not got billions behind them, from Activision. So if they can do it, surely Blizzard can.
yeah, that's kind of that changes versus no changes discussion. But that's, people might have softened their outlook on that, right? Versus changes versus no changes. People are just so worried of Blizzard getting their Activision tentacles on the game, right, and messing it up in some way. But I hear you. There is a line, where you just try to balance the game best you can. We'll get into that later. We can talk about, is TBC balanced? But there's something else you said, Scotty. You said the idea of an open beta. Open beta sounds good. One thing that I selfishly hope Blizzard doesn't do this time around with TBC, and again, maybe nobody's going to feel me on this because I'm a content creator, Andy, but they only invited a few people, right? And they left a bunch of other people out. I would have preferred it with classic beta for them to just make it a lottery system, and they just took everyone who had accounts back in the day and just gave away these beta invites or whatever, just fairly, or opened it up to everybody, like you said, Scotty, as opposed to just choosing a few select Blizzard influencers to give them the keys to. I don't know. What do you think about this, Crix, man? About how they would roll out a TBC beta?
I think, one, I hope I get in it because I'll be heartbroken if I don't. Second, I think they should, I don't know if this is smart, but the game changes. Obviously you would say a beta from 60 to 70 would be nice, or 60 to 65, or whatever it'd be. but you also want to do something where you're going to see the TBC changes from 1 to 60 or 1 to 58 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you said, 1 to 20. I don't think a beta for 1 to 20 is going to. What is that going to accomplish? I would say like a leveling. I don't know, leveling beta up to whatever. Change the experience to whatever class they do. Change it to the normal one, and let them level up and do the new TBC talents at like 58. Maybe let everybody play at 58. Whoever's in the beta, like you just have the option to level 58, or you can boost it and you can mess around and let them do the tuning, and then cut that beta off one day, and then the last like month of a beta, they let you go 60 to 70 or 60 to 65, and then 65 to 69 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I think having some sort of application system would be good. So you apply for a beta key. So like you, for example, Cargos, part of the application system is, do you stream? Yes, here's your Twitch. Do you make YouTube content? Yes, here's your YouTube channel. And then they look at it and go, well, actually, this is going to be good for the game. The guy gets this amount of views. And I don't think it should just be only the big boys. They should look, if someone's got 500 subscribers on YouTube, but they're putting out regular content, that's still 500 subscribers worth of content that they wouldn't have people with their eyes on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I mean,
Well, I
it is
think
free
that'd be
marketing
bad, though.
for them, right? But at the same time, it's almost like a separation between church and state to a certain extent. Like, it feels sometimes with Classic like it was almost like they had their bag of Blizzard influencers, and like it was kind of a boys' club. They invited, who they felt was worthy for these invites, as opposed to just like fairly giving it out to everybody. And I got left out of the beta, for Classic, so that's why I might be a little bit salty with it. But, that's just from my perspective. I was like, oh, okay, so Blizzard just kind of like chooses who they want to, give these to, which shoots other content creators in the foot and stuff like that. But I'm not dwelling on it. I would just want to see something fair. That's all.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
honestly,
That's the main thing.
Wouldn't like an open TBC beta just once you run into ridiculous queue times,
True. That is true.
like insane queue times,
yeah,
right? Everyone's just gonna flood it the second it's open.
yeah,
Yeah.
That would be my only problem with it.
yeah. I mean,
I think what Scotty said with the applying where you apply like the stream, I think that kind of I would like it because we'd get in it, but at the same time I don't think that's kind of fair because you'd have to have it's just a streamer thing. People already think that it's just streamers that get into betas. You remember everybody complaining about classic beta because only streamers can get into it?
yeah, there's a big
You have to split it up at the
pushback
same
on
time.
that.
Like yeah, exactly. Like there's the streamers bring the eyes, right? This is what the beta looks like, but then
The
you
hype.
also need those big brain guys because the purpose of the beta, like Isavu says, is to improve the game. You know what I mean? Not so you can make content on it. Even though yes, we would love to do that, but
I should have probably clarified a bit. I didn't mean that you only got into the beta through application. I mean, any content creator should be able to apply. They would do their normal random giveaways, just sending it out to random active Battle.net accounts. But then, like Cargos said, he didn't get in the classic one. He should have had the opportunity to apply for a beta key to basically say, "Oh, look at me. I didn't get on it. Can I please have it in my
I hear you. Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, so you could apply and try to take it into your own hands a little bit. The other option is a closed beta. So you can invite all the same special people you'd like, but it's less focused on marketing and more focused on bug testing, because that would be another line to explore, right? So I don't know what Blizzard's headspace is at. If I had to guess, I think that the beta is less about bug testing and more about marketing for them, right? And just getting it in the hands of streamers and all this. But here's my question for you, chat, and also you guys too. Like, I could be wrong on this, honestly. I really could. But did the hype go down a little bit for you for Classic? Like watching people stream it for like 3 months straight before it actually launched?
not really.
I sensed it a
No,
little
I don't
bit.
think it did.
Okay.
No, not really. I liked it. I loved it.
You like just watching people?
Because you got to think about it. I remember at one point where I was trying to look at any kind of footage. I wasn't trying to watch anything about it because I was just so excited. When you get so excited for something, you're down to watch whatever and anything.
I see. Okay. Well, yeah, it could very well be the case like that. I was just
Did it
feeling
for you?
like,
You didn't like?
yeah, it kind of did for me.
Okay, why?
A little bit. I mean, because you went 3 months of watching people play the game, so when the viewer finally gets there and it's like, oh my god, Classic is here, finally, I'm here in Elwyn Forest again. You've been watching it for 3 months straight. Already for that. So I don't know.
Yeah. That makes sense. That actually, I never saw that point of view. That's a really good one too. I like that.
So that's just yeah.
You had what's his name, Gorthax or something on YouTube, where he just does he puts all the videos of all the funny Dude, those during beta were so funny. He just like piled all the funny clips from all the other content creators, and my god, that stuff is funny.
Yep. So it like if we just look at Classic and how it was done, TBC is likely to follow suit, right? So how did they do it for TBC? Unless they change something, they're going to announce it at BlizzCon Line or whatever, and then they're going to invite a select few of people who will stream it for 2-3 months before it eventually releases. That's the precedent here. So it's just throwing it out there. Okay.
Well, testing though. Well, they do have to do some raid testing. They have to do all kinds of testing. I'm interested to see. I honestly just think that they should involve private server people in it, man. I'm sorry. I know they don't care about it, and I know private server shit is not supposed to be in the game, but that's the people I think they should be talking to a little bit of too. Like they talked to Nost, right? He was a private server guy. Like they need to keep doing that as well.
For the
These big brain people, when the private server guys, they know a lot about the game, and these guys can help. You know, TBC wouldn't launch TBC Classic.
Was this Gummy? What was that guy? He's a really good TBC private server scripter.
Yeah, he's kind of controversial though. I don't know if like Blizzard would want to work with Gummy. I remember.
No, I know. But there's some just like those type of people though, man.
So send him Jerry, bro.
Yeah. So,
No, I mean I know they had sent him a letter or showed up at his door and things like that. So
Good, man.
here's another thing that we can talk about too. Lessons from Classic. What did you learn from looking at how Classic rolled out? How Classic played out? Is that affecting you guys in some way going into TBC? I mean, especially from you, Kale, too. I mean, because this is not your first rodeo with TBC. You've been playing these servers for a minute, right? You've probably got just an interesting take. Like it almost seemed like last time we spoke, you were like, "I'm just gonna kind of chill and not go too sweaty with it," you know?
yeah, I mean, I voiced a very strong opinion. I'm not about like TBC's my baby, so I want to enjoy it, and I don't want to push for speed clears and things like that. And like I said, maybe once, like if they're going to release tiers individually, then once per tier. But no, I like killing TBC bosses with friends, and I don't need to make it any more competitive than it needs to be for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, of course, like Classic, just going into TBC in general, like, I mean, again, the huge advocate for the fresh start too.
Yep.
The fresh start.
Some people say that this,
and I don't mind. Like, what I would be okay with is if they want to like release TBC and gates like level 60 for the first 2 weeks for the fresh servers. I'm fine with that. And then I'm fine with the super, super sweaty players that are going to level to 60 and then start running Nax within that first 2 weeks, or running AQ40 or whatever they want to run, and then take that gear into TBC. It's just not going to be full tier 3 players. That won't be possible, but they could definitely go get some level 60 raid items. I don't care about that.
The more and more, I know we've talked about this like every podcast, you know, but the more and more I think about it and just really visualize like realistically going into TBC, the more and more I feel like playing on a fresh is the play. You know, I feel like it would hit different if TBC hits and there's a bunch of people in full tier 3 with full consumables and 9 trillion gold, and they just hit the ground, not even running, they hit the ground sprinting, and it would just
epic flying, bro.
They hit the ground flying, bro. They hit the ground. They don't even hit the ground.
They don't even hit the ground, yeah. Like Kale said, they're right into Karazhan immediately with their tier 3 gear on and just slaughter all of it. It's just
T5. I mean, honestly, I think you could do... if it's as easy as we're all expecting it to be, I'm pretty sure you could go all the way through tier 5 with tier 3.
That's crazy.
It's just the gear is itemized almost perfectly, and then that it happens every expansion, right? Sunwell gear is itemized insanely perfectly, and Ice Crown Citadel, and then so on and so on. The gear is just too. It's so good.
What about you, Scotty?
Like I think
any lessons from Classic? Like even just think about things like server balance, faction queues, layering. Think about how the itemization or the what do they call it, progressive itemization versus whatever the alternative would be, just the what we have right now, just with the static like Final Form ones. Now moving into TBC, or think about changes versus no changes. You alluded to that earlier. Think about your experience, and did you have a great time playing Classic? Is there anything that you could change going into TBC that would make you have a better times? I'm not trying to lead the passer too much, but maybe you have some stuff that comes to mind.
The biggest concerns for me is difficulty and how they handle certain things that could potentially ruin the game. And what I mean by that is, there's a big difference between going in with 2.0 itemization and 2.4, obviously. But if they were to take things from 2.4.3, like having heroic keys honoured instead of revered, for example, that would be a shit show, in my opinion. And when you talk about faction balance, look at some of these 1% servers. That should never, obviously that didn't start like that. That escalates over time and that needs to be controlled. And I think that's one of the biggest things, in TBC, if you've got servers that, especially PvP servers, that are, a 1% alliance, 99% horde, how do you combat that? And that is going to happen. Like Crick said earlier, if you've got Seal of Blood on horde paladins only, then I think we're going to see that more and more.
Okay, I never actually asked you guys this, and maybe Dr. Kale would be the biggest authority on this, considering this is his main. Dr. Kale, choose your words wisely, my friend. Would you want Blizzard to add Seal of Blood to both factions?
Yes. You got it. Like, as much as like I don't care about Alliance. When you say a PvP server, it's 100%. You're gonna have an Alliance PvP server, and then you're gonna have 10 Horde PvP servers. But they're gonna be so tilted that they're legitimately gonna be PvE servers. I come from the classic server Stalag, which was 99% Horde. It was a PvP server. I promise you, it was 100% a PvE server.
So pretty much like what happened in Classic, like with Skyrim and a lot of other servers, right? Like it became ghost towns.
It's going to happen. So there needs to be balancing. Like the no changes thing, I'm all about, but I also want world PvP. I want the Alliance. I want there to be buffs to the Alliance or something, an incentive for the Alliance. I do. I'm still gonna play Horde, but I would really like to see something done for the Alliance to make people want to play it.
Yeah, here's my little spiel too. I've talked about on stream the idea of like it's okay to play static games, and people talk about Cargos. Don't you get tired of playing Classic over and over and over? And for sure, I get fatigued. I get burned out just like anybody else. But I do think playing static games, it's where discovery ends, mastery takes over. That's what Baba Share Show said. He's one of the OG vanilla WoW people, and as a quick aside, that's one thing you should ask yourself. Do you like watching discovery or mastery? Do you like seeing someone discover content for the first time, or do you like to see someone masterfully execute, a game plan with amazing finesse and stuff like that? It's a quick aside, though. But my thing is, so I used to say all that, right? And I used to point towards games like Dota and CSGO and say, those games are static. Those games are static. They're timeless, right? But they actually balanced those games. I logged into Dota today, and there was a balance patch. They changed the items a little bit. And they still call it Dota 2, and it just made me think to myself, maybe if they did tweak some stuff in WoW or TBC, whatever, you're still playing the same game, but it's just a constant dynamic evolution of changes, similar to how those games do it. I don't know. Does that even make sense?
Well, so on that, I mean, off the back of that, going back to what I was saying earlier about 2.0 and 2.4.3, I mean, would you like to see the classes, obviously by 2.4.3, that was when all the classes were as balanced as they could be. All bugs were fixed, abilities were tuned. It was as good as it gets in TBC for all classes. Would we want that, or would we actually want, to accept the fact that some classes are underpowered, some are overpowered in 2.0, and then actually work through the patches, in real time, where all of these things get fixed? Or all of these things get tuned, because then you're going to see metas shift in PvP. You're going to see metas shift in PvE. I think that would probably make a more enjoyable experience and more real to life to what it was back in the day.
It's so interesting that you say that. It's so interesting, man, because do you guys play CSGO or Dota or any of these other like esports types games, or even StarCraft or anything, like any other type of game? you know how they make one small change, they buff one small thing, nerf one small thing, and the whole meta shifts? I've never seen that with like a private server or TBC. Have you guys seen the meta really evolve, or is the meta kind of static, right? Like, could they do something too classic to make the meta shift away from just stacking warriors, or in TBC, you know, I'm thinking about it differently now.
I don't see them doing. They didn't do that in Classic, did they?
No, they didn't. I mean, they didn't. But I guess I never really just thought about it, like in the same way how Dota and CS:GO and all these other games, like, just constantly make little tweaks here and there. But I don't know.
I'd like to see it personally.
You would like to see Seal of Blood on both sides?
I'd like to see, yeah, I'd like it balanced as in, yeah, from that side of things. And also I'd like to see some sort of balance brought in, like free respecs, if, you know, the Alliance fall under 45% or the Horde fall under 45%. Something like that to encourage people to play on that server. I know it's not going to happen, it's just a pipe dream, but, you know, if they was to listen, I'm sure that there's things they could do. Or even if it was just a free mount, a ground mount, a free mount, you know, if the faction is starting to fall 10% under the other one.
Yeah.
I'd like to work progressively through the patches. I've thought about this a lot, and I've done a lot of videos on it, talking about, you know, the pros of 2.4.3 and the pros of 2.0. And the game would not be in as a polished state as 2.0, but it'd be nice to see it evolve over time, rather than going, oh, here you go, this is the finished product. The only thing that's going to change between now and Wrath of the Lich King is new raids are going to be unlocked. That's it.
Interesting. Well,
you're talking that. I mean, to balance that though, Scott, would be like the amount of manpower they'd have to throw into it. When I just see Blizzard wanting to set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Like you're talking changing items. You're talking boss mechanics change.
There's loads to it. Yeah, there's absolutely.
I mean, it would be unique. It would definitely be unique. Like meta wise, like here's how I'm seeing speed running going. I'm legitimately imagining people having an alt healer, and instead of having one of your healers drink, you just have them hearth and summon in their alt full mana and just continue on. Because that would be 10 times faster than letting somebody drink for 30 seconds.
Oh.
Like, think about, like, again, this is why I personally hate speedrunning, but it's going to be so funny to see just the crazy strats people are going to use. And if you're changing patches, that would be the fun part, is just to see, like, things change and then people change their strats and just min-max it immediately. Would just be awesome. But I don't see it happening. If it does, cool. But if it, that's a lot of work for Blizzard, and I don't know if they'd invest that hard.
Like I said, it's a pipe dream.
It's a pipe dream, yeah. Yo, Chris, can I ask you something, man?
Yeah.
So you quit Classic at some point, as I think, you know, I think Kale and I saw Scotty playing it the other day, actually. So maybe you didn't full on quit, but I think Chris quit. And for those of you that quit Classic in the chat, what made you quit, man? And if it was just normal burnout, like maybe that's just fine, you know, leave it at that. Like maybe there's nothing wrong with the game. You know, everybody burns out. It's the cycle of hype. It goes
Everyone
up,
say
it
world
goes down.
boss.
Like,
I don't know, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. Obviously, we had a lot of fun until about BWL, and then halfway through BWL is when I quit. But we did an MC speed run, right? We did pretty good. Did a BWL speed run and did good. And then I thought to myself, fuck these world buffs, man. This is tiring. And then on top of that, I got to do MC every week, and it's like, oh man, I don't have the patience for it. So I was still raiding, and I was a GM of the guild, and I was still raiding with my boys. And then I got on Endless. I want to try this out, and then I just absolutely fell in love with it. And then quit, man. And it was just so much. I needed the raid time with Kale, actually. So I was like, yo,
we're getting there.
Kale, I need to.
So what about TBC appealed to you so much though, comparatively to Classic? Was it truly like the world buffs, like what Kale's saying, where you have just a better quality of life and you can experience all the endgame content without having to do all those chores, or if you had to put your head right on the nail, or whatever the expression is?
At first, what led me to it was TBC back in the day. Was the original TBC. That's when I started hard. Like, I didn't raid hardcore, but that's when I started. I was 15, 16, so that's when my brain was able to function and, like, think of mechanics. And then into Lich King. So that's what led me into it. I knew that Blizzard was going to do it, and I wanted to play it. And then what made me fall in love with it was the raids were hard. I remember doing a raid with my first guild, and it was hard. I was like, oh, why is this so hard? And they're like, oh, it's overtuned. And I loved it. And now we're back to progging in an expansion where my class, the Warlock, is like night and day difference pretty much from Classic, right? And then, I mean, it's just so many. TBC is just TBC, you know what I mean? The flying mounts I'm not really. They're all right, they're convenient, but it's not a big deal. The raids, man. The raids, the T5 tier, it's just even on retail when I was playing, I would go get T5 transmog stuff.
Yeah.
Now I can raid it. Now I can raid SSC and Lady Vash. I never knew that you had to get those those tainted cores. So I never got to get the T5 helmet when I transmogged it because I could not figure out for the life of me why I can't finish killing Lady Vash. And now I'm on a private server, on an Overton server, progging it with Kale. First raid with him, and it was a blast, man. So I needed to free up that raid slot, so I quit Classic, man. Passed GM to the officer, and he's doing a way better job than me. And they just played Nax the other day for the first time, bro. Big shout out.
Before I forget this, I think this is one thing that I was feeling, but again, I don't have as much experience as you guys with TBC. I was feeling when I was playing on Endless on my Druid, and I messed around with a couple classes, it wasn't just Druid. I felt like the talents and the abilities that you get in TBC, they flesh out the classes and specs more, but it doesn't take you to that point where it's homogenization, where you see, like, even starting in Wrath, in my opinion, like, I know Scotty loves Wrath, but, like, the classes have... You know that term homogenization in the context of this, where the classes feel like they have the rock, paper, and scissor, all of them, and it like the classes still feel like they have that unique flavor to them, but they're just a little bit more developed. That was it.
I agree, absolutely agree. And look what you're saying, Wrath, like everybody gets an AOE, everybody gets a slow, everybody gets a stun. Yeah, it does start to go down.
Speed too. Lich King is when you get like Burning Rush and shit like that. A lot of classes have speed.
Do not get Burning Rush in... Or, you say Legion? Or what did you say?
Burning Rush? We don't get Burning Rush. When do we get Burning Rush? That's not Lich King with Demonic Gateway and stuff? Demonic Gateway Haunt?
No, dude. No.
I didn't play a Lich King Warrior, a Warlock. I know we get Demonic
Warlocks
Gateway.
they get to teleport to their little demonic circle. That's all they get. Yeah. Whatever it's called. They can port right to wherever they set their little green thing on the
Demonic Gateway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I think when everyone started to get speed actually was Mop, wasn't it? Because that was when Rogues got burst of speed.
Yeah, they got.
I'm really excited for Lich King. I'm like super pumped for Lich King.
What about
TBC probably?
What about you, Scotty? Comparing Classic to TBC, it seems like you like TBC more, but I don't know if I've ever asked you this. Like comparing the two, like what about TBC is? Try to take away the idea that it's just fresher and newer because we've had Classic, right? The grass is always greener. But if you're just looking at the games side by side, as unbiased as you can, like, what do you prefer about TBC?
All right, so look, I'm still playing Classic, literally only for basically preparation for TBC if the servers are progressive. But I must admit, I'm more or less forcing myself to play Classic at this point because I just think there's a severe content drought. And when you say what do I prefer, I mean, if you put them side by side, in Classic at the moment, when you're level 60, you do go get world buffs, you log out, and then you go and raid for an hour. That's it. There's no real reason to go to dungeons. You don't even need to go and do a tribute run anymore. There's people just sat there holding a lockout all the time. But that's removed in TBC because, especially for me, and even Cal, to a certain extent, we play hybrid classes. I'm going to be playing a Druid and a Paladin in TBC. So there's always going to be a need to go to do heroics and help the guild, and because I'm going to want the Badge of Justice gear for all specs. So essentially, I've got 2 classes, 7 specs to gear out. So I'm going to be exalted with all the reputations just getting that off-spec gear because, as I say, Cal and Crix, you guys know, and Cargos, you're going to be changing specs fairly frequently depending on your class. Mm-hmm. So you want to keep all your off-spec gear up to date. So it's that, for me, on TBC, you log in and you don't have to think, oh, what am I going to do now? You log in and it's like the content's it's there waiting to be grabbed. Whereas with Classic, you have to force yourself just to go and do something.
That's pretty well said, man. What about you, Kale? Do you second that, or do you have any just comparing them side by side?
Attunements are more like arena in general. So like PvP, like you can get you and a few friends and go do arena, which I like the PvP aspect. I don't like grinding high warlord. Tip my hat to those psychos that do that, but attunement wise, like that would be a big thing for me. It's a lot more team. I mean, there's still got an amount of teamwork, I guess, with Classic attunements, but
yeah,
I really like the TBC ones a lot better. And him speaking about multiple specs, like maybe Blizzard gives Alliance dual spec, which would be a really, really big one.
Damn.
You know, that would force people to play. That would honestly make Alliance a lot more valuable. Because your raid could flex so much smoother if you have dual spec.
That'd be so dramatic.
I know it would, but that's what it's gonna take. Like, it's already super horde. Horde's gonna just be just too big. So that's why I'd say something crazy like that.
Do you think you know, because you really know the ramifications of this, right? Not to beat a dead horse too long here, but would it be as simple as giving Seal of Blood to Alliance? Like, would that move the needle if you just had to guesstimate here? Like, are we talking like a 5-10% shift in population by doing that, or is it?
I think the thing is, like, because content will be easy, it won't be needed to clear stuff. But like, PvP wise, Seal of Blood breaks sheeps. It's really strong. It does more damage PvE, and it has more utility PvP.
Yeah, and we talked about how, like, kind of on the Paladin front, the best spec they bring to the table, in a sense, is kind of Retribution. Weirdly enough, right? For all the classic candies out there, they're like, "What the hell, Ret Pally?" You know, but yeah, if Ret Pally is the best, you know, type of Pally, and not having that would suck, right?
I think it'll take more than Seal of Blood, but Seal of Blood would be a good start. Would be a really, really good start.
Interesting. Well, I just to contribute to this a little bit too. When I look at TBC and Classic, like, I love Classic so much, man. I mean, it's mainly, you know, I really do think it's the best game when it comes to the leveling experience, but that's not everybody's cup of tea, right? But you know, when I look at TBC and some of the stuff I enjoy about it more than Classic is just the smaller raid sizes are great. You know, to be honest with you, I don't. That contributes to me not enjoying raiding that much. 40-man raids is too much, man. It's too much for me. Like,
I agree.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but it's kind of.
Well, that'll come into, like, your serious guilds that are going to split run, right? It'll be a lot more efficient to split run with 25 than it would be multiple 40-man groups, or even if you're running Molten Core with 30 or 25 or something. It's still, the play is still, like, even tokens, right? Like, you don't have to just hope for a warrior token to drop, I guess, early on. You just get you can just dictate which person gets a token versus the actual set armor piece.
Speaking on the gearing front too, anybody feel this in Classic? Visualize being back in Phase 1, guys. Close your eyes. Remember what it was like stepping into Molten Core. You're in this new guild. It's fresh. Like, the pacing of drops, you know? Like, if you're trying to get a weapon as a warrior, if you're trying to get Mage Blade as a lock, right? If you're trying to get this stuff, it takes a while, and you're, like, savagely competing for, like, clout and DKP and all this, and it's almost, like, helpless sometimes. Like, you feel like your gearing is in the hands of the Loot Council or whatever. In TBC, you can take matters into your own hands a bit more, right? Like, you have the badge system, you have PvP that you can just do and literally queue up with your buddy and do 2s or 3s and get some badass gear, right? Like, and there's just multiple ways to make your character strong and take it into your own hands. That appeals to me a lot.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of ways, too. That's the best part about it. Even for PvPing, a big thing for a lot of people are just going to want to PvP, and one of the most popular questions I get is, how hard is it going to be if I don't want to do any PvEing at all to PvP in TBC? Oh, you're going to love this game. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good time sink, right? Like, if you're not farming or something, Arena is a good way to keep the game fresh. Like, you know, playing on multiple teams, playing with different characters. Arena is going to be a really good... Even if people aren't raiding, they're coming back every week before Flush to at least play.
Yeah.
Which, you know, whatever keeps the people coming back and playing.
Arena is so much fun too, guys. Like,
it really is.
Some of you guys that it almost gives you that esports feel. It's like the closest thing. You know, if you guys in the chat play any other games, esports type games, like, you know, CS:GO, LoL, Dota, some of the stuff like that, you get to get that taste in WoW, which is really cool. It's almost like you're picking different heroes or champions in a Dota match or something when you're doing 2s or 3s. And once you have a bunch of high-level, max-level characters and you're experimenting with the different combos, class combos, it's honestly timeless is the only way to say it. And it's a lot of fun that you can gear up multiple characters at the same time, too. That's something in Classic that you have to be pretty sweaty to do that. You know, gearing up multiple, going raiding on multiple characters, that's insane.
And in TBC, it's good as well because obviously there are strong comps. Don't get me wrong. Like Warlock, Resto, Druid, but there's a lot of comps that work. I think the arena system the arena sort of balance in TBC is I think it's decent. We were talking about some really good comps a couple of weeks ago actually with you, Cal, talking about the things that like Rhett and Shaman can do together, and there's a lot that you can make work.
Mm-hmm. And
while we're on the top,
sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was going to say, while we're on the same topic, a couple of people asked at the same time. We'll go in a circle and ask, what's the best thing about TBC in your opinion? Like, less of a favorite thing, but what's a crucial best thing about TBC? Obviously, Arena.
Arena for me, man. Yeah. I love 2's Arena. I don't know why. I just think, even when it came to Halo 2, anybody play Halo 2 in the chat? Like, my favorite type of game mode was, it was called Double Team. And it was still ranked. You get the highest rank and everything. But in 2's, there's something just about 2's. It's just so fun to me. Just
to beat each other up, man.
Yeah. As a segue though, guys, because so people view Vanilla WoW in its current state right now, and I'm actually like kind of on the same page with them, to be honest. They view Vanilla WoW as it stands right now on Classic WoW. That patch, those talents, to be one of the most balanced the game has ever been, and I could defend that. Trust me, I could go to bat, but that's neither here nor there. When it comes to TBC, assuming that TBC is done in the same way as Classic, and you get like the final form, values on items and talent trees and all that, all the adjustments and stuff. Do you think TBC is a balanced game? Is it a balanced meta? Think about all the different buckets here: PvE, PvP, leveling. What do you guys think?
Kind of, yeah.
I don't think so.
Definitely more than Classic.
Yeah, definitely more than Classic, but is TBC balanced? No.
Like
not really.
Are you thinking more on the raid side, like DPS side, Kill?
Both. Is your name purple? Is your name green?
Yeah,
good. Welcome to raid. Arena? Are you a rogue, mage, or priest? Get in here. I mean, there are other very competitive comps, but RMP and RLD will run. They'll run it.
Mm-hmm. And it's Shaman stacking in PvE as well. I mean, you can't say it's balanced when you prioritize a Resto Shaman over any other healer just because they bring Hero.
I mean, that does change, right? Like, so Priest are really strong early on in Tier 4, and then eventually, it goes to all Shamans. You have a little fluctuating, like, when Shamans have access to haste, then they, of course, start scaling out of control.
Yeah.
So I know I'm the resident Classic Andy here, but here's my one defense for Classic, and I'll shut up now, of why I do think it's kind of the most balanced, is because in Classic, it's World of Consumable Craft, right? You have so many consumables and random items that you can bring into any type of PvP altercation, any raid scenario. If you're a hybrid class, you can double dip and you can get the benefit from both, spellcaster and physical damage deal consumables, right? And it kind of just evens out a lot of the imbalance, like baked into the talents and specs and stuff like that, right? And you can, if you have enough bankroll to dump and hemorrhage money into enough stuff, you can kind of balance it yourself, unless you're playing at the most tippity-toppity level. In TBC, there are no more world buffs, as you said, right? You cannot bring these consumables into the arena. When it comes to raiding, some stuff can't be used as well, right? I think we were saying that some of the engineering stuff shares with drums and stuff like that, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So TBC could be less balanced than Classic in a sense, right? Like what Dr. Kill was saying with Hunters and Warlocks in PvE and those classes in PvP. But remember when we built out your dream team, Dr. Kill, I was surprised that there was only like 2 Warlocks, 2 Hunters. It wasn't just like you were stacking tons of them.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is like, that was for Karazhan.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, for Karazhan.
So 25 man will be a little different. I expect, we went into it, but I would expect, Hunters or Arcane Mages to be making an appearance as like stacking them type deal, because the fights will be so short, and not crazy short, but just short enough to where Arcane won't, be touched in damage, because that's how that class works. Go through all their mana and just do dumb damage.
I also wouldn't be too hasty to say goodbye to world buffs.
Oh, why is that? You think you can bring them in TBC?
Depending on what patch we go in, yeah, you'll definitely be able to bring him in TBC. And there's certain ones where even irrespective of what patch it is, you'll like Songflower. You'll still be able to get Songflower. You'll just have to use your ult to actually activate it.
Wow, that's insane.
Well, they're trying to work on that now. They don't know if they're going to be able to do that, but there's people theory craft. Did they fix it?
Yeah, but that buff changes though. It's not just giving you a static
it's not
protect. I think it's 28 crit rating or something. It's
Yeah, but you still get it. Oh,
you're right. You could.
28 crit rating is garbage, though. That's not 5%, is it?
Yeah, crit rating is 1% for most.
That's what I'm saying.
More than 1%.
Yeah.
So it's not even not worth it then. For
exactly. It's
for
like
parsing. Yeah. You can tell the parsing will be out there getting it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because let's face it, if a piece of gear dropped and it had 1% more crit than what you're using, you wouldn't pass it, would you?
Exactly.
no, I know. It's just
So you think people are going to get Songflower?
it greatly loses its potency.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you're right. It's not. I wouldn't shy away from it being, you know.
But if we went 2.0, Anixia head buff will still work as well.
Doesn't it cap at 60?
63.
But that was
you're not. Yeah, but you're not going to use that for rating. Then, right? Like, it only works for level 60.
It changed to 63 in 2.1, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm
power
sure.
level 60 to 63.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think there'll be some surprises, personally.
Yeah. I we gotta hope the TBC knows what each patch does and they pick the best out of each one and just make a good game, man.
Kirk, to answer your question, gold making will be my favorite part of TBC.
100%. I love that you said that. I thought everybody forgot about my question. Can you elaborate on that? Why and stuff?
You know.
But if we went 2.0, Anixia head buff will still work as well.
Doesn't it cap at 60?
63. But that was
you're not. Yeah, but you're not going to use that for rating. Then, right? Like, it only works for level 60.
It changed to 63 in 2.1, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm
power level 60 to 63.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think there'll be some surprises, personally.
Yeah. We gotta hope the TBC knows what each patch does and they pick the best out of each one and just make a good game, man.
Kirk, to answer your question, gold making will be my favorite part of TBC.
100%. I love that you said that. I thought everybody forgot about my question. Can you elaborate on that? Why and stuff?
Farming in general is peace of mind to me. Nothing. It's just, for me, it's relaxing. It's very repetitive, but it's fun. And then if I want to get competitive and do pulls bigger and bigger and bigger, I can always do that. But gold is king always.
Mm-hmm. That's TBC, bro.
Gold is king in Shadowlands. Like that. I don't think that's ever not the case.
Playing the right class
in WoW.
Yeah,
it is.
Well, money is king in life, right? It's just like,
right. That's what I'm saying.
Highly immersive, highly realistic experience.
You can buy healing.
Yeah.
You can buy tankiness.
Yep.
My favourite thing, Crix, about TBC is level working.
Oh, shut the fuck up. No way. I will say something, though, because Arena is, I could speak for we're talking a lot about PvP, but here's the PvE side. One of the major things, I don't know if it's one of the best things, I think it's one of the best things, is that they actually add mechanics and raids, and, there's mechanics. There's mechanics that you have to guys do. I know there's some mechanics in Classic, yes, but not at this level as in TBC. Look at Vaj, look at so many fights, look at just heroic dungeons, look at Brutalis, look at these bosses that we're doing that have mechanics that you have to do that you didn't have to do in Classic. And yes, it might be some easy for some, easy or hard for some, Karen, but there's mechanics then it changes. Rating is not going to be, even if it is easy, it's going to be a little bit harder than it is in Classic just specifically because of that.
And every boss is wildly different, isn't it? You've not got three bosses. You've not got three bosses in Blackwing Lair which all do exactly the same thing.
I wouldn't say overall. Someone said mechanics and overall TBC is significantly easier. I don't think it's going to be easier. It's going to be harder than Classic for sure, even if they let it go at the same tuning as Classic. Everything about TBC will be harder, I think.
If we just had to put it into like a TLDR too with class balance and TBC, all of what you said is true, right, Dr. Kale? But also things to consider is that there's only really one spec we could think of out of everything that has a harder time finding a place in PvP, which is like Holy Pally, right? And then on the PvE front, all these specs like Moonkin and stuff like that, even like Arms Warrior. What are some other meme specs? I mean, even Elemental Shaman. They find
You're taking
a home, right? They find a raid slot now. So is there
Look
anything
at Shadow
truly
Priest.
not viable on the PvE front to bring in, like really viable? There might be.
Rogue.
Rogue.
No rogues allowed.
No rogues.
Fury Warrior.
No.
Straight Fury Warrior.
Straight Fury Warrior,
I
rogue.
guess straight Fury Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fire Mage, just straight Fire. I mean, I guess they're fine for a little bit, but
Mages in general are
Frost is
fine. Even like you can play Frost in T4. You honestly can because of the craftables. Frozen Shadow Weave, Frost Mage, opening day would be very strong. There's so much, Frost spell power.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Straight Disc Priest.
Do rogues, when they have the double Warglaive Dream, do they, like, how hard do they slap? Like, do they actually get to become gods and
Yeah,
and be at the top?
100%.
Even more than hunters and stuff, though, or no?
I'd have to look. It's really close. Hunters usually will outplay him anyways if any movement is involved. At any point. Like a fight like Brutalis, I still think a hunter's going to pull ahead. But, man, rogues, they really take off with it. Even Fury Warriors.
What about like full abyss on a paper doll, just like standing behind it versus like a hunter? You think they could do more?
I think a hunter still barely beats him.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're just going to see rogues climb. That's the thing. They're going to jump up 10 spots.
Oh yeah, they're up there. Our Rogue's smacking right now, and he doesn't even have glaives. He just out of nowhere just started smacking.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to paper doll standing still, not moving. It's close, but any movement, it's over for the rogue. It makes the rogue wave more fun though. All that haste, then combat potency, giving them a bunch of energy. It's really fun. Rogues are, they've got vanish, whereas if a warrior has warglaives, they're gated by threat. So you might be soul stoning a fury warrior with warglaives because he just potentially could just rip threat if it's a boss that's not tauntable.
Gotcha. Yo, Kiko, thank you for the sub, man. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, Red's pumping too.
Red's pumping,
Red's
right?
pumping right now too. Yeah, Blaze, he's cracking right now. Everything looks like it's pumping right now. I mean, obviously there's some not pumping, but it feels like I'm sitting here trying to think of classes that you would never see in them. There's only a couple. Like you said, a straight Fury Warrior, like a straight Disc Priest. I haven't seen a Feral. I haven't seen a Feral Druid yet, like a DPS Feral Druid yet.
A Disc Priest will fit fine if it's a caster comp. Divine Spirit is always welcome.
Okay.
And that buff gets stronger as you get more gear, I guess, or more tier 5-ish.
In a perfect 25-man raid, how much class stacking are you doing? Like, I mean, I guess it's usually, even probably at your guys' level, it's usually still probably player over class, right? And maybe it's not, but for me at least, it's most of the time it's player over class. There's pumpers and there's non-pumpers, but how much class stacking are you doing with warlocks and hunters? You just have to raid warlocks, hunters, or is it?
Yeah, pretty much half, give or take. You got to build them a team too. Like make sure they have LA Shaman, Boomkin, at least an LA Shaman in general. Boomkins, swapping a Boomkin out, putting a Warlock in, lusting, moving the Boomkin back. Like you're just trying to kind of baby the Warlocks. Make sure they get all the little juice you can squeeze out of them.
And the thing is, with other classes, they're really, obviously, if you're talking about gear dependence, you can stick half a raid full of warlocks and hunters in. The hunters are going to pretty much get their bist, for the first couple of tiers just from dungeons. The warlocks are getting their bist just from crafted. So it's like you've not even got to worry too much about loot distribution, because there's only a few items that they all want.
I see.
That's part of it.
Yeah, that is.
Don't really, have to.
Correct. They can just grab some blues and some craftables and top meters.
Yeah. Yo, one thing I was thinking about the other day. I think the heroics, the dungeons, not even just heroics, but the dungeons in TBC are so good, and there's so many high level dungeons too, right? As opposed to classic. There's a lot of dungeons, but a lot of them are for lower level too. There could be a really fun speed running meta, like almost like a mythic or like an how they do MDI, where you can do a unique rule set or something, or all the dungeons in TBC. That could be really fun, man. Because I love the TBC dungeons. So many good ones.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
We actually used to do that. We used to do that back in the day. We'd do it like five-a-side football. So we'd have a pool of players. You'd have a leader of each group, and then they would just pick out of a pool of players in the guild, and then you would speed run against each other. Yeah, only for fun.
God, that's so smart. Writing that down.
Dude,
Well,
I
that
raced
sounds-
Scotty one time through Shadow Labs. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I beat him. It was quite embarrassing to be Cal that day.
Yeah.
That sounds so fun, man. You know how isn't this how Mythics work in retail? How they change like every week. There's a different buff or debuff or something that changes the meta, and then you have to like adapt to that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What if you did that for TBC dungeons? I know I'm getting off on a tangent now, but if you made
Oh
like
my
a
God.
community affix for the dungeons,
Oh, that'd be so fun.
and then you'd have like
That would
weekly
definitely
league.
spice it up. Yeah, it'd be
A
funny.
heroic old Hillsbrad foothills with
Oh
teaming.
my god.
Yeah,
I mean, fortified, bro.
No.
yeah. I mean, you'd have it's
Bolstering would make Old Hillsbridge just fucking
Man.
ridiculous.
Yeah, but teaming with Warlock seeding, bro. Come on now. Give me some love.
But are these the sort of changes that we would accept? I mean, me personally, can you imagine if they implemented Mythic Plus into TVC? I mean, that would be legendary.
I think they can do it after they go through whatever the cycle they're about to do. Like after, I think it'd be cool to after Lich King they just fuck around with new games. Like you see how they're talking about this classic fresh thing. What if they did that for each one? So they had
we
classic,
could do
Lich,
it. We
classic
could do
PvC
the.
Lich. Yeah.
You know how there's a rule set, like a custom rule set for hardcore, right? Like it honestly would be less hard to enforce with TVC as long as everybody records everything. You could just come up with your own affix. I don't know. It could be really, really fun just thinking about it right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can't kill female characters.
Okay. Let's see. So, any last thoughts on is TBC balanced, or are we on the same page? With that page being
Yeah, seems fine to me.
is reasonably balanced.
Do we talk about
Yeah.
leveling? Does that matter? Because it goes so fast. I guess it doesn't really matter.
Talk about what?
Leveling.
Oh,
I guess
leveling.
being balanced. I don't know if that really matters. You can kind of blow through it.
I think it will matter, but you know, there's only a few of us out there that really enjoy that. I mean, we're gonna keep doing the cups, and you know, that will be a factor, right? I don't know if if you guys are interested at all. I don't think the leveling meta has been explored much in TBC. You know, it's not really an expansion known for its leveling because there's so much awesome endgame content, right? So we're gonna try to explore it and see if there's anything cool.
Well, I mean, Ghostlands is the most broke place to level.
Why is that?
It's the most linear. Like, if I was playing an orc in TBC, I would just go to Ghostlands.
People do as well.
I know.
Fresh
Why
private server,
wouldn't
they run all
you?
the way out there. Yeah, they run all the way out
Yeah.
there on a fresh private server and level there. I'm doing that next time there's a fresh.
Ghostlands is insanely linear. From one hub to the next to the next. Oh, and then it ends with some amazing blue item.
Yeah,
Reminds
you
me of
get
like retail, kind of.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how every quest gives you an item. It's like upgrade, 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 upgrade. Huge blue item, which is a weapon, and now you're just slapping mobs.
Well, they basically just made it the same as the Outland zones, didn't they? That's the thing. It's the same
Yeah,
level
of course.
of experience.
Did you guys know?
But it's funny, is like, it's funny how much better Ghostlands is than the goat place.
Azure
the
Mist
goat
style.
place.
Is that what it's
Yeah.
called? Yeah, Azure Mist style.
I
didn't even
did it
notice that
right.
It was that bad.
Yeah, it was. It's just not. It's not Ghostlands. Is all I'm saying. Ghostlands is insanely just strong.
Yeah.
I didn't know Ghostlands was that crazy until that Karazhan server launched, and there was I remember trying to see how fast I was going on my Warlock. I'm trying to speed run it, and then I look up and there's a Blood Elf Warlock like 5-8 levels higher than me. I'm like, what the hell happened? And like, yo, Ghostlands is broken. I was like, oh, I did not know that. And then I went and did a run over there, and it's crazy how fast everything is, man. And it looks cool.
Yeah, you can tame Ravagers there too, right? For hunters, I think they have low-level Ravagers there. I don't know if they have low-level Gore or if you have to wait, but that's an interesting thing too. The other thing, I don't know if you guys know about this. They changed the quest rewards in TBC for questing for like low levels and stuff. You get crazy items, like really, really strong ones compared to Classic. So it kind of messes with the pacing a bit. And they also turn all the elite areas into non-elite areas. So
Like classic quest items, you're saying?
yeah, so like on the hardcore front, it'd be kind of interesting. Like, you know, in Lockmadown, those ogres at the top right, like you could never do that solo really, but you know, in hardcore
Not
TBC,
elite,
you could because it's normal.
Elite.
You can do a lot more quests.
I
But
heard they
anyway.
didn't change the experience either for it too. Like it still gives you that much experience. Like someone asked, like because they made them non-elites, does it give you less experience? It's like no, it gives you the most.
Yeah, it should still give you.
They just took the elite away. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
That's why it'll be interesting with the patch progression, because obviously that was like 2.3. So technically, in 2.3 they made 11 to 60. You know, they reduced the XP you need and increased the XP you get from quests. And then, like you said, Gargos, yeah, obviously the elite zones, like and stuff like that. So it could actually be easier to level alts towards the end of the expansion than the beginning, depending on how it's launched.
Yeah.
Or 2.3, it was the same experience.
It was just normal, yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. And I know they shortened it. I didn't know it was 2.3.
You know, one thing that's kind of funny. You know, they had Recruiter Friend in TBC because I actually have the mount still. It's a zebra mount. It was the first time they ever did Recruiter Friend.
They had Recruiter Friend in TBC. I thought that was Lich King, bro.
Wasn't it Wrath?
No,
Wasn't it Wrath?
No, I'm pretty sure it was in TBC, man. Because I don't know.
Doing it.
Someone should look it up, but I'm pretty sure it was TBC because I did Recruiter Friend with my buddy Jose, and we got a zebra mount. But I don't know if they'll have that in. You know, it might be a good way for them to monetize if that's a thing in TBC Classic. But we can transition into just memories from back in the day in TBC, and if you don't have any good memories that come to mind necessarily, I just want to ask you guys, like, what about WoW just makes it such a satisfying, fun game? To you, based on it's not any of our first rodeos playing this, and we've been playing it for so long. It's the holiday season. It's time to be introspective. To look back.
I think it's who you're playing with, and it's the community. It's the people you got around you. The game. If you were just playing it, you can't. So recently, completely off topic, I've been playing Star Wars: The Old Republic again, and now that's an MMO, but you don't play it as an MMO. You just go for a single player story mode and then quit. Whereas I think WoW, if you haven't got the community, you haven't got the people around you, you wouldn't last long.
Mm-hmm. Wise words, for sure. You guys have any memories?
I missed something. I was responding to the chat.
Chris, hit us with a memory from back in the day, from when you were playing WoW.
Back in the day, I was 15 or 16, and when TBC came out, I was with my older cousin, a couple years older, and we went and camped out, did the stuff, and got the game, but we were not 60. We were only 56. So when the game was out, we had to spam 56 to 58, and we did it, and it took me approximately 10 minutes of walking through the portal to die to Fel Reaver. And I remember wondering, yeah, you can shocker, right, Kel? And then you remember wondering, well, what's this dude? Like, what'd I do to him? I don't know about this guy, right? I've only been playing WoW totally for not even 6-7 months. Rest my body, and then, a couple hours later, boom, smacked me again. And then, so my journey of Hellfire Peninsula on a Paladin, I died 4 different times, bro. 4 or 5 different times to Fel Reaver. But ever since then, I've never died to Fel Reaver.
I see. Somebody, Shinku, in the chat said, I think the feeling you get when you zone into the Dark Portal for the first time is unforgettable. And I'll never forget when I first did. And here's the thing you have to understand, chat. You know how I always say on stream how, once TBC comes out, it's like a space game. It's a whole different feel, look, aesthetic. It is really true, but it's extremely impressive in the context of moving from Classic to TBC for the first time, right? Everything seems kind of Lord of the Rings, medieval, has a totally different atmosphere. It's hard to do because we've just seen it all already for so many years, but if you really could try to visualize yourself back in the day, walking into the Dark Portal and everything looking all alien, for the first time, this is a new aesthetic to World of Warcraft, right? Didn't exist ever before. It was shocking in an awesome way, just really insane. I know people say they hate flying mounts now, but back in the day, seeing a flying mount was the dopest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. The idea that you could fly around vertically, just...
I think it's just being a noob, isn't it? That's what I miss, as in, we've played WoW now for so many years that even when Shadowlands comes out, you go in, all right, there'll be some new systems that you've got to learn, but it's not going to take you long because they can only do so much. Whereas, a fond memory for me, very first Karazhan clear, back in the day, the mount dropped. And everyone was like, oh, you take it, as in me. And it was like, you take it, I'll get it next week. And then we never saw it for about 8 months. But we didn't know. We've gone in there, we've killed the boss for the first time, and the mount's dropped. You automatically just assume, oh, it always drops. But when you don't know these things, I mean, it's the not knowing.
I remember I saved up and got my first epic flyer, and I was so utterly fascinated by the water moving from me flying past it. I literally was flying around, literally looking at the water. I was so fascinated with it.
Yeah, man. Just the
And this
sky,
was
even.
Before Epic Druid Flight Form, because I played a Druid at the time.
Well, we got your UI up here. You just linked it in our little group chat here. If you guys want to take a look, this is
Oh my god.
this
Look
is
at that.
Dr. K. I mean, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's pretty chunky
That was
right
me
there.
and Sunwell. Like, that UI is just horrendous.
Hey, at least you made it to Sunwell though. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's really you.
Yeah.
That is me.
Man, yeah.
It is
well,
me.
Your UI looks a lot better now, bud. Damn, your omen is just. Why is your omen so big? That's a healer.
I think it was for AoEing on Felmist, but if not, we were preparing for Brutalis. I don't remember why I had it up, but
Crazy.
it was
What's
fun.
crazy, guys, is, and this is so ironic. I love it. This picture right here is exactly where we are as a guild right now. Talking on Endless. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think I was really young in this, and it was so fun.
Did you guys play on like the launch week of TBC by chance? Like Scotty, you said you did, right? You were there right at the
I was there on day one.
Yeah.
I was, but this is how bad like the server was at the time. So I was the first 70, not just Druid, first 70 on our server.
Oh wow.
And
Wow.
it took a full 7 real days before the next
Dick
level.
alert.
7 days, real days before the next level 70 thing. So I never had anything to do.
What the hell did you do to level so fast, bud?
Well, I was on the beta as well.
Oh, okay.
But it was just how people didn't take it that seriously. You know what I mean? It took as long as it took.
Imagine being alone on Elemental Plateau for the first 7 days.
Yeah, but I didn't even know, did I?
I know, right? But like,
Man.
imagine if you would have known.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, we won't talk about the server first during when was it? Cataclysm, when I got the realm first, 85 rogue, and then got banned. Done 83 to 85 in 16 minutes.
Sum it up.
Didn't hack or glitch or anything like that. Not at all.
Hacker. Just kidding. That's crazy fast. Oh yeah, you're my 11 partner for one server too.
Yeah. We started on Karazhan together, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's
I'm
crazy,
just
man.
excited, man. I'm really excited for this shit, bro.
Yeah. Just think about any highlights from back in TBC, like stuff that stuck out that was just legendary back in the day for you. I mean, I'll throw one out there for me, just for getting the shoulders and the weapons, man, for the first time in PvP was so sick, man. I'm in.
The arena gear.
Yeah, man. It was
Ooh.
doing it with my roommate at the time too. Just fucking so nice doing twos. First time was with Mage Rogue for me. Just seeing him at the vendor, right, and just seeing him lock behind the rating and getting him for the first time, just amazing.
I think a lot of it, like my sort of good memories, they'd sound boring to even explain, but like groups of us running around Sketis, farming rep, when you're all coming together and doing things like that, that was fun. And when Shattered Sun Offensive rep launched, and you had those dailies to go and do, it was all like brand new, a proper, like solid daily quest island, and all the stuff that brings. I think for me, it was when those sort of things started happening. Yeah, when these gated reputations started unlocking and you had even more to do. And I don't know why, but in retail nowadays, everything feels so grindy. But even though it probably was grindy in TBC, doing a Guerrilla dailies and all of that, it just never felt like a chore. It wasn't sort of forced on you. You either wanted to do it or you didn't.
Yeah, honestly, the mount grinds are a lot of fun in TBC too, right? Did anybody get the Nether Drake in the chat? That was legendary,
No.
man. Getting the Nether Drake, doing the egg dailies and all that. Man.
Fuck no.
You never did that?
The ashes. Anybody ever get ashes? I never got ashes.
No.
No, I
Wait,
never did it. No,
Dr. Kale has it. Dr. Kale has ashes.
Yeah, he has it now.
I have it on a private server, but
Yeah. No, I mean the mount. What other mounts are grounds? There's the Manta Ray one. Getting even the Talbuck. You turn in all those warlock.
get the White Hawk Strider out of MGT.
Oh my god, dude! MGT was
Monty
probably
Warbear,
my
baby.
favorite dungeon, bro. I really MGT, the Isle of that whole island with the dailies. Honestly, world PvP on that island was another one. Top 5 highlights.
my
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
spicy right now, bro. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I was so I was in a boarding school at the time, right? And I had 2 roommates, and just doing dailies with them as a little group, and just going around that island, and just popping people, and like making sure we complete our dailies together, dude. Next level, so fun.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And there's a ZA bear too, Money War Bear.
ZA was the trailer for ZA was really hype.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I like
yeah.
ZA. I think ZA is pretty cool.
I think a lot of people forget about ZA when they think TBC.
It's like a catch up. It's like a ZG, but better, way better in my opinion than
Yeah.
ZG is.
Oh, that word
Oh, yeah.
is so nice.
Short, timed, fun. It's like a little
It's
timed event you got
that's
going
the
for
best.
it.
The best part is it's short. It's with a good group. It's like a 1 hour. You get badges. It's in between Black Temple and Sunwell, so it gives you a little something to do.
Good gear, good
How,
gear.
so the gear is really good in there. Like that you really use it all.
I would say as a warlock, there's a few pieces I get that are abyss into Sunwell. Yeah, there's a couple pieces.
And then as it's really good for people that are like either playing catch up, coming back, or maybe just gearing up and all. The gear in there is really nice.
I see.
Good gear, good mounts, buddy.
Oh yeah, cool
Easy
looking
bosses,
weapons too.
too.
Oh man, I remember. Oh dude, getting some of the ZA weapons, dual wielding. There's these 2 really huge weapons in ZA that they don't go on your waist. They go on your back. You know, in ZA, I just remember dual wielding those on my hunter. It was so nice, man. Back in the day.
Yeah, the 2 swords.
Yep.
Aquilon and I don't even remember the other one.
Just little things
Actually,
like that.
I just got my haste dagger today from ZA. I'm pretty hyped. Finally.
Oh yeah, it's your first time in Sunwell, right, Crix? Is that what you're saying? You just cleared it for
Last
this time?
night was my first time in Sun. Oh no, I guess we did it last. We PTR tested. Kale's my raid leader GM, so we tested it. But yeah, this is my first time. Everything on this server is my first time since old TBC, and
So
I never raided an old TBC.
you and killed Jade and you killed everything.
We're in Sunwell now. No, they only opened the first 3 bosses.
Oh, I
They
see.
didn't launch it all at once.
Okay.
They only did 3 bosses. We don't know why, but they only did 3 bosses. Then they overtuned. It's really overtuned, but it's not like impossibly overtuned. It's the perfect overtune in my opinion. I like it. It's hard, bro.
Yeah, it's fun. I personally like buffed content.
Me too. It's my favorite thing about these private servers, to be honest, is the buff content.
It's
So they wanna
strength
mix
training
both.
for TBC Classic.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, imagine me trying to figure all this shit out. TBC Classic, bro. I'm so glad I did these servers.
As a seasoned raid leader, Dr. Kale, do you have a raid that you just enjoy running? It doesn't even have to be for for the fantasy aspect of it or whatever. But like, which raid do you have the
SSC.
most fun? SSC. Why? Why SSC?
It's very hands on as a raid leader. You have to set up a warlock tank on one fight. You need you need 3 tanks with resist gear on Hydros. Screaming at people to throw the core on Lady Vash is always a great one. Because I'm on one side of the platform, and if somebody's not communicating with me on the complete opposite, then it's like, all right, let's start looking who's messing up. I'm a prop paladin, so there's multiple fights in there that actually let a prop paladin do what they want. And again, trash is very hands-on. All around, it's fun. Yeah, the loot's good. I like
top tier fight, bro. Vag is a top tier mechanic fight in TBC.
Yep, Vash was a very, very well put together fight.
I see. What about you, Scotty? You ever raid that you just enjoy the most going through it?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say Sunwell, but that's probably because it's freshest, the most fresh in my mind, to be fair. Purely because I've been playing private servers, but I've been playing it for content more than anything else. So I'm not like these guys. I've not been farming tier 5, tier 6, and now in Sunwell. I'm tempted to go back to do some of that just to sort of refresh my memory on the fights before we get a TBC Classic. But I mean, my favourite raid will always be Karazhan, as in literally out of every single expansion. I love the atmosphere. I like all the bosses. I find it a fun raid because it's only a 10-man. I'm like you. I like smaller raids.
Same man. That was one concern I was thinking about earlier when I was just doing something. So fresh does sound really nice for TBC, right, guys? But think about it this way:
yeah.
those fresh servers are going to be packed to the brim, man. It is. They're going. you know, they're going to be
no matter what, it's going to be
completely
packed,
full.
whether it's fresh.
No,
or
I mean it would be right. Like if you're coming back to the game, even if you played classic and you're only in phase 1, like let's say you quit in phase 1, and you're like, well, I'm not going to lose much if I re-roll fresh. Fresh servers are gonna draw a lot of people. That's for sure. I agree.
They're going to be 100% back. Like, think about as opposed to running on Bloodsail. I like Bloodsail because it's kind of a backwater server. You know, you kind of have a bigger fish in a smaller pond. That appeals to me more than being in the big like metropolitan servers. But the fresh servers, if they're doing these surveys, I mean, there's no way they're not completely full with a massive queue, right? If they do, like,
well, isn't that what they're gonna? Isn't that what's gonna happen? Just like it did on the classic, they released like. For us, like we were looking for an Eastern server PvP, there was 4 options, and then all of a sudden there was 10 options, and then it's like it just kept growing out of control.
I think the
Now
fresh
they know to expect that, though.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Keyword.
Fast forward, we're gonna get 3.
We didn't like 4 guys. We're gonna go down to 3 Eastern servers. But I think Blizzard's gonna do great. I'm on a hope that I hope they do good. I'm not a doomsday or whatever they call it. I don't think the raids are going to be easy. I think they'll be simple, but I think they'll add a little bit. I think what they did to Nax, how that wasn't a pushover. Like that was the first raid that wasn't a pushover, right? It's literally breaking guilds. I think that gave me hope for TBC raids, that it's not all going to be a pushover.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, everyone says I have way too many high hopes, but I think I think they're going to kill this. I think they're going to do a good job.
You know, another thing that's nice to think about, guys. So you know how they banned multi-boxing, software multi-boxing? People still kind of get around it with hardware multi-boxing. Like, I see some of these people just get extra sweaty with it. They legitimately set up a friggin' data center with, like, computers hooked up. I don't know. It's so sweaty. Like, for what, right? But it's not nearly as impactful as I think is the software multi-boxing. And if there is a fresh TBC server and multi-boxing is banned, then maybe you're going to have the closest economy to, like, kind of the best type of economy, right? That's kind of unscuffed. Right now, RMT is a huge thing with Classic, and people already have bazillions of gold. And moving into TBC, I don't know what you guys have any thoughts on just the economy.
It's gonna be all over TBC.
I don't think you can stop RMT.
Yeah, but
bigger and better.
Yeah.
Right, there are markets. I'm trying to think of, like, there's no more Devil Sword Mafia. You'd have like Elemental Plateau Mafia. You'd have like a no-go zone.
Jaden Mafia.
Yeah.
You'd have a zone where people can just control it, right? And then that's where instance farming and things like that
you have to instance farm, man, because the plateau is not that big of a place to have just
epic flying is going to be amazing, because you're not going to have epic flight form out right away. You shouldn't. So up until druids get epic flight form, you might as well take to the sky. But second,
air death cloud mafia in the grand.
That's true, right? Like, I mean, you will. I'm just trying to think of, like, what would be the mafia, and you're right. You will have people camped at every cloud all the time.
And then what are they going to do? They're going to layer hop.
They might layer hop, or what if it's forced respawns? Like that, then primal layers would be dirt cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah.
There always has to be 6 clouds up, then it's just going to be... You're literally going to be sitting there hitting your extractor, waiting. Even if it's not even appeared on your screen, it's going to appear.
Yeah, if you think about it, if you look back on Classic, there was so much scuff things about Classic that did damage the servers a bit, right? And then in aggregate, maybe it added up and really did affect the experience. If you think about it, from launch day, right? You had the 10-man dungeon raiding, literally, to level up, right? You had the no instance caps for dungeons and stuff, so people could literally just reset the dungeons over and over and over and over and over and over again. There was also that thing where you could layer into different bosses in the dungeon, remember that? And people didn't say anything for a little while, and you could kill the same boss over and over and get, like, all the drops. There was just crazy botting. There's all this stuff probably added up and really did some damage. In TBC, they could learn from that stuff. There already is instance cap. Multi-boxing is banned now, kind of. So fresh TBC is looking nice, honestly.
It's going to look way nice. You don't even need a fresh TBC. A fresh TBC is what I want, but I really just gold cap, and I'll shut the fuck up. It's the gold cap. It's the gold that's important for the fresh, in my opinion.
It's gear, man. I promise you.
Oh yeah, gear. That too. Obviously, but the gold is really bad though.
Yeah, of course, gold it's out of control.
Because bottom
Botting,
line, even if you're in
botting
max
in
basics
general,
gear,
the amount of botting in in classic WoW is just funny.
Well, I know of people that are aiming to have their full crafted gear, so full spell strike, full like shadow weave on day 2 of being 70. They've got that many alt tailors.
Oh yeah, or gold to be able to buy it. That's what I plan on. If they don't do a gold cap, that's possible. If there is a gold cap, well, depending on how small it's going to be, then I want people to earn that shit, bro. Because I feel that paying on a private server, you see who has the time to. You see who's earned the effort of a raid spot by what that warlock or whatever class is wearing with their tailored stuff, or crafted stuff. But if everybody in the world has gold to buy all their crafted stuff, there's no like.
That's what I'm saying, man. I feel like the fresh server is just gonna be just more fun, man. I think about all of it. Just what are those servers gonna be like? The big servers right now. What are the most popular servers? Fairlena, Herod. Like, what are those servers gonna look like come TBC, man? Is it just gonna be like
what'll be funny?
Well, after 2 weeks, what does that server look like? Everything cleared? Like everybody just has everything already?
Yeah,
like,
bro.
Well, when you got people buying Gristle for 198k,
I saw that. Yeah.
That goes to show there's too much gold on the server already, don't it?
Yep.
So I mean,
100%.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I wouldn't want to play on a server like
Wait
that.
till world bosses in TBC.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
I promise you this. I will not. There is not a snowball's chance in hell that I will be at any point near Kazakh when he spawns.
Why? You don't think that because of your knowledge that you would stand out, you'd be able to control these things a little bit better?
Bro,
I think you would be able to.
You're gonna have. I promise you, at Kazakh and TBC, I promise there's gonna be 500 level 1 summoned to Kazakh.
Oh yeah. So reset?
It's just gonna heal him to full infinitely. And Doomwalker, the world PvP that's gonna go on at Doomwalker is gonna be hilarious. Dude, Doomwalker, you're gonna have like an alliance guild going down, and the second trample starts, you're gonna just see every horde. The cloud is literally just the whole sky is gonna cloud with horde mounts flying in.
Well, at the same time, it's gonna be different because the world bosses are my favorite thing about Classic. That was my favorite time zone, and we were doing world bosses. We were killing world bosses, and we had a collaboration, whatever you call it, a coalition where with the alliance and the horde, where we were all getting world bosses and sharing it. So that's the same thing that's gonna happen in TBC the same way. Kazakh, though, you were right. That's going to be fucking rough.
Kazakh is funny because one person on 2 different characters can stop any raid. You taunt Kazakh at the raid, he cleaves a raid. You bring 2 characters that can taunt, and it's over. That you can't be stopped. It's going to be so funny. I literally will go to Kazakh just to watch the shit show. That's literally what I'll be doing. Sitting on my mount, just watching this boss just go up and down in health. It'll be like. I bet Kazakh. The best part is when 2 guilds get in a fight and they start fighting over Kazakh. The fight's gonna go on for like 3 days.
Yeah, it's just gonna be who gives up first. That's it.
Exactly. But by the time one guild gives up, another guild will be like, "Well, let's go try it."
Yo, Such, thank you for the tier 1, man. I have a question for you guys. I always really like dueling too. Dueling is I love playing it. Like that's a big percentage of my choice in what class I'm gonna play. I want to be able to feel like I can handle myself 1v1, right? And not just be, just man fight and just lose every time, right? Like that's a big deal for some reason. And also the dueling tournaments, it's kind of a sacred thing in WoW, even though it doesn't get you any gear or anything, right? Dueling. What is the dueling meta like in TBC? Is it still Warlocks, heavyweight champions, like kind of a classic, or is 100%.
It Warlocks and Rogues?
Yeah, Warlocks and Rogues.
Warlocks and Rogues.
Warlocks and Rogues. Druids, though. Yeah. Druids are insane, too, though, man. A good resto.
Does a Rogue beat a Druid?
Yeah, I think a Rogue beats a Druid.
So does a Warlock, so... Bye. Warlock Druids, baby. Hunters are good at 1v1s, too. Really good.
I think a decent Druid.
Yeah, a BM Hunter would be really good, right? Like a BM Hunter will be very strong in a 1v1. Because they pop Bestial Wrath and the Rogue's gonna die. They can still be. I think they can be death coiled, but after that, they're gonna just mow you down.
Well, the Rogue's just gonna try to reset, right? Once you just blow your load, you just reset.
Yeah, a good hunter is gonna have a flare down right on top of them, and you ain't gonna just get away.
Yeah.
Of course you can. You can reset.
I feel like that because of Beast of Wrath is the main reason that hunters are so good at 1v1s is because of Beast of Wrath. I can't death call you. Nothing can happen to you.
Yo, is there a
start,
TBC
yeah,
rocket?
the start of
Is there a TBC rocket helm? It's my favorite item in the game for PvP. Is
no,
there?
I don't think there's like
Wait,
a TBC version of it.
Maybe you could still use it though, or maybe it doesn't work on targets past a certain level.
I think it's past 60. It doesn't work if I remember.
Yeah,
right.
I see.
Engineering stuff is 60.
Okay.
But there is engineering. There is some engineering like gadgets and stuff that you could use, but it's not to the extreme degree that is engineering is in classic with duels and stuff. How that's like you need engineering to even beat anybody in a duel. It feels like in classic. Like you don't need engineering. You having engineering and me not having engineering, you're not going to win. It's not like you're going to win every time.
I think it's Rogue's getting Cloak of Shadows. That's what makes them so powerful in duels. More than anything.
Cloak and Shadow Step. Shadow Step is what makes them really bad. That is nasty because that's even if you finally get some room from a rogue, however you do it, hamstring, fucking Curse of Exhaustion, whatever, you just Shadow Step to me and then you're back on my ass. It's the most annoying thing ever.
Gotcha. So seems like not too much changes then. I mean, I think rogues probably get better though. I mean, with shadows and they have just some extra tools, right? They have cheat death and some shit. I feel like rogues are already insane duelers, but in TBC with full coolies, they're kind of that was my experience because I did roll a druid on endless and did some arena with Navik, and when he had full cooldowns, I just had no shot, man. They just have too much gas. I was feeling, but I don't know. All right. Well, we are towards the very end of this, man. We've already been going. That pretty much flew.
Yeah, that's
hour and 57 minutes. We can take any questions now if you guys have anything in the chat. I'll throw them in here. We can.
What is
Take them on.
directly to Kale and Scotty since we're private server people? But what are you gonna miss about private servers the most compared when TBC Classic comes out?
The EU community. I love it.
100%.
EU players just bring we are a different breed to them and they are a different breed to us, and I love it. I love running into it. Straight up, dude. Come on, man. Like you've got us, then you've got somebody like Red Bull, right? Like it's just completely. I'm gonna miss that.
Funny. They're funny,
every
bro.
time
They're
I go
so much calmer than us. They're good. You know what I mean? A lot of them are good. And this is the only time that I've met so many people from across the seas, bro, in chat and everything, because we're not going to see them because they're all the EU and the NA servers. You know what I mean?
I went to
Scotty over here.
I like that personally. It takes me back to like my Star Wars Galaxies days. You know, there was no EU and US servers. It was you all played together. Yeah, obviously it makes raid times difficult, but I do enjoy that as well personally.
Dude, it's just like I went to you go to some random pug and you get in Discord and it's just it's a whole different world, man. It's comparatively.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm gonna miss the most is the PvE content difficulty.
Yeah, buff content.
The buff content I'm gonna miss.
Dual spec would be one. I will always miss dual spec when I play TBC as a paladin.
I'll just miss faction balance, as in the faction balance components that the private servers put in.
Nope.
Oh, someone said this is what I was laughing at. What did he say? Someone said dual spec. That's what they'll miss.
Bro, Amanda says, I just want to let Scotty know he's the biggest Chad because it's super late over there. Yes, it is. I don't even know what ungodly.
Super early.
I set my alarm and got up at 3:00 in the morning to get on here. Say how much I love you guys. But don't worry, I'm going back to bed after this.
Yeah. Well, let me do some shout outs for Scotty J. Also for the Get Carried YouTube. I know Dr. Kill is like the least person to shill. He just doesn't even care about getting the views and the clicks and all that. But he does have a YouTube channel, believe it or not. It's the Guild YouTube channel basically. If you have the link, throw it in there. Here's Scotty's channel. He's been going really hard with the TBC stuff, like video every day hard. Like that was me for Classic, kind of like another a year and a half ago. He's going super hard. He's trying to grow it. He has the full-time aspect. Well, he's doing the full-time now, right? He's just going for it and everything. So it's like that. Give him a shot. Throw him a follow, a sub. Also, if you have your Twitch,
more importantly, he also has his own podcast, his own TBC podcast.
Oh,
that
yeah.
He's doing. We'll link that in here too. But
yeah. Well, you can find that on his channel, right? So
yep. with him and Fake Cutie.
And Cargos was on one as well. So
Yep.
go at least go on
Metagoblin's on there a lot too.
Yep.
Dude, I think. Oh, that's right. I was on it.
Yeah, you was on it, Cal. I mean, while we're just talking about each other's content, I mean, on Cal's Get Carried one though, there's a video about how to get through a hole. I mean, that's it. That's the video that's worth watching.
To get through a hole.
Yeah,
It's called Project. It's called Project Hole. It's a Snapchat story. It's from my work. It's
I didn't know you put that on the.
Like some high quality.
Yeah. It's on YouTube.
When it gets to 100,000 views, 99,000 of them will be me. I just enjoy it that much.
Hell yeah. Well, man, the time really just flew by. Happy holidays, everybody. I don't know if we'll do another one before the big day, right? For Christmas or whatever you're celebrating out there. But happy holidays. I've done 8 episodes now of The Dark Portal. Many more to come as we get closer to TBC here. Any final words for the people, my friends?
I'll go last.
Okay.
Yo, anything? Scotty, anything?
Get yourself playing Classic and get ready for a progressive launch so you're not disappointed when there's no fresh servers.
Don't listen to Scotty. It's gonna be fresh. Just go fresh. No, just I look forward to people playing TBC. Right. It's a very, if you've never played TBC, get ready because it is very fun. It's very. There's just so much aspects to it that you'd love. Honestly, if you like WoW, generally TBC is a nice balance of everything.
I agree.
Hell yeah.
I just want to say happy holidays and Merry Christmas, bud. That's about it.
Absolutely. Any of you guys going live after this? Can drop the host.
No, I'm going to bed.
Scotty or Cricks?
Definitely going to bed.
Definitely going to bed, huh?
I thought about it, but I changed my mind. So.
All good. Well, yo, thanks very much for tuning in, everybody. We're going to send you over to, we'll send you over to Jamin and say hi to Jamin for he's doing some hardcore. See you later, everybody. Happy holidays. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Get through this strange time we live in. Take care, folks.
Cheers.
Want to pass your certification exams first time? At Exam Labs, we've got you covered. Looking for a tech role? Don't waste hundreds of hours learning. Get all the answers verified by IT experts. Over 1,000 certification exams, including Cisco CCNA, Amazon AWS, PMP, Microsoft Azure, and much more. With a 98.4% pass rate, you'll have your dream job in no time. Sign up for free now at Exam Labs and start changing your life today.
To the Paladin class in Burning Crusade. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am joined today by my fellow co-host Crix Gaming. How we doing, brother?
Doing great, man. I'm just excited for this episode, man. Christmas spirit, baby.
Absolutely. And then we also have joining us once again someone who's been on, I think, 2 episodes now. Dr. Kale, how we doing, man? Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays as well. It's great to be back on a very fun subject of mine too. Thank you for the invite.
Of course, man. And then we have a guest, a brand new face here to the channel, to the show. Legendary. Do I say, Crix? I mean, this you hyped him up pretty
Legendary.
good. Legendary.
Big dick red god.
Even Dr. Kale is clapping. He approves, man. Legendary
Hell
with
yeah.
a capital R-E-T. Doesn't even make sense.
I appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
Mr. Blazed.
He's pretty big.
How we doing, Blazed?
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped to be here. Thank you for the invite. I'm really hyped to talk about Rit and show you guys what it's all about.
Hell yeah, brother. Should be a good time. So let's see if this transition works. Probably won't. How's the volume, everybody? We don't.
Yeah, how's the sound, guys?
You know, what you see is what you get, folks. It's not the highest production value thing in the world, but let's see if this transition here works. It did. Okay, you love to see that. Welcome to episode 7, the Paladin Deep Dive. So, let's start with a guest introduction. You've heard from Dr. Kale, you know who Crix is, you know who I am. I'm going to put you on blast. Placed.
Oh.
Alright. My man, if you could
no
you know, warm up to the stream a little bit and humor us here. What's your history with the game, my man?
I've been playing WoW since Classic WoW. I've been playing, I guess, the retail till Classic, TBC. Played Wrath. Played Cataclysm a little bit. I got Legendary Daggers on a Rogue back then. Pretty much, I've always played melee. That's probably the best class that I'm best with and stuff like that. I've been playing TBC and Wrath servers on and off pretty much since TBC and Wrath were retail back in the day. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing pertaining to WoW.
All right. I appreciate this. How succinct and clean that was. Also, next thing is, which class fantasy resonates with you the most, and race while you're at it, maybe. By class fantasy, it's just kind of
Class fantasy. Well,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
probably Rogue. I played Rogue the most out of all expansions and everything.
All right.
Kind of just enjoy melee and stuff like that.
Fair. Favorite zone. Favorite snack.
Favorite zone, okay. Zanger Marsh by far. I kind of like SSC as well. I like the layout of SSC. I like the mushrooms in Zanger Marsh and shit like that. It's great. I love it. And then favorite snack, I'm going to go with Oreos or something like that, man.
Not a bad choice, man. Not a bad choice. What kind of Oreos? You're talking double stuff, right? Come on now.
Double stuff, yeah, with the
Double
milk.
stuff?
With the milk, absolutely.
Solid. All right, we're almost through it, man. And favorite version of WoW, and yeah, we can just end with that. What's your favorite version of WoW and why?
Favorite version of WoW, absolutely TBC. I've been playing TBC private servers probably the most out of all of them. It's always been play a little bit of TBC, maybe go to Wrath, but it always gravitates back to TBC.
All right, perfect. Well, thanks for sharing with that. So let's go to the agenda and see where we're at. TBC news. Crix, maybe you can kick us off with this. It's not, I have a slide up for it right now. I mean, we're at the point right now where we're like every little scrap, every little thing where, people are latching onto, right? You hit me up about this the other day.
Yeah. I don't know nothing about it. I asked him about it. He just said all he could divulge was that much.
Yeah.
I think my mic is having a couple issues right now.
It's all good. The stream's used to the scuffed audio. But yeah, anyway, Nano, this is the dev who worked on Nostalrius, one of the devs, and he has been like the plug for the community, looking back on it, for Classic and now allegedly for TBC. I don't know what kind of insider connection he has over at Blizzard, but you remember, chat, where they flew all the NOS guys in and Blizzard had to sit down with them and pretty much who knows what they talked about. He was one of them, and he always teases at new updates and stuff. He tweeted out Baladash Malinore, more info coming out soon. So, it's all speculation at this point. But just to get everybody on the same page, BlizzConline is rapidly approaching. The date is February 19th to February 20th. So what is that, a month and change? 2 months, 2 months. Yeah, almost 2 months away.
Hype?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Our announcement should be there. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? It's highly, highly likely they're going to announce it then, right? And here's the thing. BlizzConline is going to be free this year. There's not going to be a, I used to have to pay like $20 or $30 or something for it. It'd be totally free. So just throwing it out there if you guys want to watch it. Maybe we can stream it or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Crix, are you entering the cosplay, online?
Dress is what?
Whatever you want.
No.
online.
You're Warlock.
No, I'm good.
So that's pretty much it as far as news. Yay, right? Everybody, you're breaking TBC news. All right, back to the agenda.
I think you don't really ever see anybody in the comments like saying it's not true, too.
Yeah, I mean, he's a respected figure, Mr. Nano, and he did get flown into Blizzard and probably has the inside look, but okay. And then the last piece of news is they updated some of the CDN or something at some points. People are speculating that they're getting a beta set up. Okay. So, we can start with this. Classic Paladin versus TBC Paladin. How do you see the differences between the two? Like, when you think of a Classic Paladin, does anything come to mind? We can start with maybe Blazed. Classic versus the TBC Paladin.
I mean, when it comes to Ret, I mean, you don't really mess around with